Now, Bernie Sanders is widely known as one of the most progressive senators in the United States of America. Hailing from Vermont, he has been known as the liberal of liberals, even claiming to be socialist at times, and really he is a socialist. So when he's asked on CNN whether or not Israel should have a ceasefire with Hamas, I'm thinking, of course Bernie's going to say that. Not only is Bernie going to say that, he's going to break out his Palestinian flag. He's going to start chanting Palestine, free Palestine right here on CNN. He's going to get the crowd riled up and everyone's going to get behind him. But what Bernie says in the midst of the craziness that we've been seeing is a dose of wisdom, and it shows you just how crazy things have gotten.
Some of your fellow progressives say that there should be a full-on ceasefire, which would require an agreement on both sides to halt the fighting. Do you support a ceasefire? And if not, why not?
Well, I don't know how you can have a ceasefire, permanent ceasefire, with an organization like Hamas, which is dedicated to turmoil and chaos and destroying the state of Israel. And I think what the Arab countries in the region understand, that Hamas has got to go. So what we need right now, the immediate task right now, is to end the bombing, to end the horrific humanitarian disaster, to go forward with the entire world for a two-tier, two-state solution to the crisis, to give the Palestinian people hope.
Wow. So who would have thunk it? Bernie Sanders saying, how can you have a ceasefire with a group like Hamas? And he's absolutely correct. Hamas is a terrorist organization. They will not stop. Ever. All they want is the destruction and elimination of Israel. Gaza, Hamas, they had a roadmap to a two-state solution. They didn't want a two-state solution. That's the problem with Hamas. There's no negotiating with them. There's no agreement. There's no compromise. There's no treaty. It can never be made because they don't want it. They only want Israel wiped off the face of the map. And so when people are out there chanting Palestine, Palestine, from the river to the sea, they're actually saying that they want Israel to be destroyed and eliminated as a nation, and they want the Palestinian people to take over all of that land, and then of course to call it Palestine, which is insanity. And here we have one of the most progressive senators in the United States of America, a proclaimed socialist, who is telling people you cannot have a ceasefire with a group like Hamas. How is this possible in the United States of America that Bernie Sanders is making sense? That Bernie Sanders is sounding like common sense in the midst of the insanity that we are seeing. This needs to tell you something. People out there, if you are liberal, if you are Democrat, if you are on the left end of things, you have to be able to look at this and start to question what is going on, the reality of what we are seeing out there with these mass protests, destruction of property, blocking off roads, stepping on cars, smashing in windows. We have people of the trans group out there dancing half naked, holding up Palestinian signs saying that they're pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, even though they would be killed if they were over there. It's like the world has a mental disease right now. Like when Bernie Sanders is coming out and sounding like the voice of reason. Now, he does go off and say that the humanitarian stuff needs to be taken care of. And I actually agree with him here too. I do believe that humanitarian aid needs to be brought into the Gaza Strip. There are lots of kids in there. There are, of course, women, and there are people who are not involved in this. Although they do support Hamas, I will not relent on that. These people celebrated when Hamas did what they did. They voted in Hamas during their free and fair elections. They voted in 90% of their leaders who wanted Israel destroyed. They voted for this. They support this, the majority of the people there. But that still doesn't excuse the fact that there are children who are thirsty and hungry and starving, that there are women and even men there who are not fighting, and aid should be brought in. Israel needs to target Hamas and the elimination of Hamas, and the rest of the individuals there should be provided as much aid as possible. So I do even agree with him there. But ceasefire? Come on now. This is crazy talk. It's a terrorist organization who killed about 2,000 Israelis, beheaded children, raped women, took hostages. I mean, there's no ceasefire there. You eliminate this threat, and we cannot listen to the crazies in this world. You cannot make political policy based on the absolute fringe of society, and that's what's been going on in the recent years, especially on the left. The fringe is saying, this is what we're going to do. do, and then people listen to them. And even now, they're chanting for Joe Biden to be out. The left is. These crazy lefties, they want Joe Biden. He's your president. He's your left president right there, because he's not listening to what they're saying. He's actually sticking with kind of common sense in the fact that he's supporting Israel. But now somehow supporting Israel when they've been unprovoked attacked like this is somehow the crazy lunatic thing. Is this the one and only time where you're like, Bernie Sanders, burn, baby, burn, man? Like, yeah, like finally I can get behind you. Like I can kind of chant for what you're saying here a little bit. I don't think it's going to happen too much more often. I mean, obviously this guy he's drinking the Kool-Aid. He's way off the deep end, this guy. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time before he makes a statement where it's like, Bernie Sanders is back. It didn't look like the host was too down with what he was saying. I'm pretty sure she was thinking that she just served up a softball to him and he was going to knock that puppy right out of the park and tell her, oh, yes, ceasefire and all the rest. And she was going to be, yeah. But if you actually look at the clip, she really didn't seem like she was that favorable with it. So what are your thoughts below? I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll catch you on the next one.